Welcome to Ulua. You live, you work, you art. This is Between the Lines. Today, we dissect the road less traveled.
Hi, this is Carol from Ulua, and we are going to start this new series. I'm actually thinking about several books, but I think this is the most important one, or at least the first one we are going to talk about, and it's the Road Less Traveled. And I remember I was the morning coming back to Indonesia, and I was in the KL Kuala Lumpur airport, and I always go to bookstores because I always find something interesting in them, or at least that's my thought. And I thought, okay, I'm seeing this bookstore, and I have plenty of time because I'm always early at the airport. I had time for coffee and everything, so I went to the bookstore and saw in this place many books, and almost none caught my attention. Only this one, but I opened it, I took it, and I looked. It says The New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. And when it said something like spiritual growth and traditional values at the time, it didn't totally resonate with me, so I left it. But something was still telling me, you have to have that book, you have to have that book. So I went around and bought some coffee. I had some coffee at the time. I also had other books, so I started to read. But there was still something in my mind saying, you have to have that book, you have to have that book. So I came back to the bookstore and opened it and read what was it about. And some things resonated, for example, like discipline, love, and growth. But the part that didn't resonate with me was religion and grace and traditional values and spiritual growth. It was something that I wasn't available in my mind at the time. Something that I was fighting against, I guess. So if that is your case, um, just think about this. Bear with me and let's start reading the book. I will not be reading it. I will only be commenting or reviewing the things I've learned from it. It will be more of a dissection because I want to go deep into the ideas that it has, which are super valuable. But if you're not right now into the spiritual realm, or you don't care, like it was my case in the past, just remember this was written by a psychiatrist and psychologist, so stick to the psychology part, and maybe some of the other things might somehow get into place while we go down this road, the road less traveled. Um, so this very first episode will be just an intro about what the book is about, and many things that you will listen from this, especially at the beginning, they will sound super obvious. And actually, the doctor says some things are obvious, but we just forget about them, or we think, oh, they are so obvious that they are not worth looking into. And so I think it's really interesting to start reading about this. And this book was written, that's another interesting fact, at least for me. It was written in 1978, which was the year I was born. So it's almost a half a century this book has already. So there are some things that are in right now not exactly the same, but we can extrapolate into our current situation, our current world, and I will be talking also about that. But it really has so many valuable lessons that I have learned from here. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Because I think many times we are not presented with the tools to grow. We always say, oh, you have to mature, you have to be a better person, you have to, whatever that means, you have to grow spiritually, as a person, psychologically, but nobody tells you how. And this book has really simple, but not that easy to implement tools for your daily life. And it has also helped me a lot with my relationships, my friends, myself personally, to start taking care of myself in several aspects of my lives that I wasn't just ignoring consciously or unconsciously. So yeah, I think it's super important. This book should be in every house, or every person should read this book from my perspective. And another curious thing it was that, well, another thing that was withdrawing me from this book is that it says here in the cover that it had 10 million copy bestseller. And generally I say, bestsellers, I don't know, that's just pure marketing. That's my stupid thought, right? But in general it is. And so that is another thing that why I didn't want to have the book in the first place. But after I started reading, I couldn't let it sit in my apartment. It actually traveled with me all around the world from there until I finished reading it. And so yeah, if you can, please take a copy, buy a copy, or I don't know, yes, buy a copy of this. It is still available, and I think has been also updated a little bit. Mine is quite old. But anyways, I mean, there are newer versions of this. I think there is one called The Roadless Traveler and Beyond, and I might look into that in the future, but right now this is enough, I think, for learning and that kind of thing. So okay, I'm going a little bit off topic, but another thing that I found about the book is that I then, after reading the book, I looked for other readings from Mr. Peck, Dr. Peck, and I also listened to some interviews, read some articles about him, and he says, I think he has already passed away, but anyways, he said that this book got spread word to mouth because it was at first it started very humbly. He said, I thought I would be a bestseller in the first year I wrote this, but almost nobody knew about the book. And so people the ones that knew started taking it to Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that association, Alcoholic Anonymous Association. And so people started reading there, and it was really useful for them too. And he received, this is funny because he received many letters at the time. There wasn't even email, remember? He received letters from people saying, oh, so you are a recovering alcoholic. And that was not the case, but it was a confusion because he was known, very well known in that community. So yeah, that's something that caught my attention. Another thing is I will try to make these chapters as lean as possible, as short as possible, but some will be really short and others will be longer according to the chapters of the book. And another thing is when it says spiritual growth, for example, it also means mental growth. So if you again are not in tune with these spiritual things, you can read it from, okay, mentally, or my mind will be bigger, my mind will become a mind palace, just by focusing on the psychological and mental growth. So it doesn't have to be spiritual, even though he talks a lot about God and that kind of thing. Maybe if you don't like that part, think about it as growing mentally. And the book has 4 parts. The first one is discipline, which has a lot of sub-chapters in the middle and many things that might take a little bit of time. And then it has a part dedicated exclusively to love, and love in all its forms, and they are all intertwined also. And then he has growth and religion, and finally grace. So we will be getting into those in time. But now I can start with discipline because I have already reread it in these days, and I will be doing short chapters for that. So maybe I will record them right now. You will see me with this. So what else? Well, so let's start this journey, and I hope it really serves your purpose, serves your life, and um, help you become a better person, a healthier one, a loving person, or whatever it is that you want to accomplish in a good sense. If you want to be evil, this is not the book for you. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So yeah, come with me to this journey, and I hope you really like it. Please subscribe so you don't miss anything. This is set as a podcast because I thought I will be putting this as a playlist, but as I'm wanted to do more books maybe in the future, so yeah, I put it as a podcast, and you will be receiving this frequently. Some chapters again might be really small, and others might be more extended with explanations, with ideas, and with my thoughts too into this process. So I really appreciate you commenting on what you are learning and what you are making out of this conversation of each chapter that we are seeing. And I hope you have a good time and it really serves you. So let's start the journey.
Stay tuned for Ulua's next episode.